This is Unrendered on AKTV. I'm Tony Regisford, and I'm chatting with Mr. Omroy Theophilus Mayers. Of course, he's known as OT. You can follow us on Twitter at iConcepts. OT, after the bout of the little stint of your farming activities, something moved you away from that. What was it?
Well, I tell you, after I get this job, the sun was hot, and to make something out of the job, you had to hustle it.
Right.
And when the job was finished, Mr. Cumberbatch came and looked at it, and I told him I finished with that type of work. I want to learn a trade. So he told me the trimmer man named Mr. Carlton Cole, he's going to trim him Sunday. He came Friday, told me he's going to trim him on Sunday, and next week when he come up, he would tell me what is the result. So the next week when he came up, he told me, the gentleman says, okay, I must come to see him. That was Friday. Saturday, because remember I just get paid last week, Friday.
You got the $7.
So I go to town and I bought a bumper shoes and a carrier.
Now, what is a bumper shoe?
A bumper shoes is something resemble a soft mash, but the soling was a little thicker, it not spongy. That's why they call it.
You got a bit more bump with it.
Yes, have a little more thing.
Right.
So I bought that because I didn't have no shoes at all, and I have to go to lawn trade. So I have to
Was
get
that the
shoes.
first shoe you ever wore? That
No, I get shoes from Curacao in those days.
Right,
we had some family in Curacao. They would send you
Send things.
some used clothes and things like that. But that's the first shoe I ever bought
that you bought.
for myself. So I go to Mr. Cole on Sunday and talk to him and ask him when I can come. And he said, you can come anytime. So I said, can I come tomorrow? Which was Monday.
Yes.
And he told me, yes. That is in Annisville. I left Lomanshill. He told me to go to Kingston by the public works, and I would see people coming out on a truck. The government truck used to park in public works yard. They would call that now the Ministry of Education and so on. Right in that compound.
Yes.
So I go down to town early and see fellas jumping up on a truck to go, come out to Annisville.
How did you get into town? This is a matter of interest. You had to
You
walk.
walk.
Right.
You walk. In those days, you didn't have taxi paying 25 cents because they start at 25 cents.
Right.
So they didn't have those yet. So you either walk, if you fortunate, you get a ride, and it wasn't so popular with vehicle. You had to hire a car if you want.
Right.
Anyhow, I go out there, and I come out at C.K. Graves because I did not know the place so well.
Right.
So the first stop the truck made.
You thought you had arrived.
Yes, so I came out and go across the bamboo, going out the other side.
Right. And for my viewers who don't know what the bamboo is, those
where
are
you
the
used to
days
cross,
when they hold the bamboo to stop cars from going across the
Right.
strip.
So I went across there and inquire, where is the public works workshop? And they point me back right where I come from and say I should have gone up a little and go in. So I had to come across back the road and go in and so on. So I reached there.
And you arrived, and Mr. Cole was able to see you right away, or?
No, he did not reach. But I could have see where the workshop is, and I stood around until he come. And when he came, he spoke to me, and he assigned me to a senior man. God, that's the way he used to do it. Apprentice boy will work with a senior. So he assigned me to a senior, and I was very willing to learn. So I start working, and the senior man would give me things that he think I can handle.
Right.
When I finish that, I have a song I used to sing, something to do, something to
So
do.
you're sending a message.
No, well, I'm telling them I finished
Yeah,
what
you're
I'm
finished.
doing.
You're finished, right.
And I want something else to do. And I kept on that way until I become a senior man. How I become a senior man? My senior man took sick
Okay.
for a few days. And the project we were working on, Carlton Cole tell me, go ahead. We were building a dining set, a table, and 6 chairs. We were on the chairs, and he asked me to go ahead working on them. And I go ahead working on the 6 chairs. When the senior man come back, he find another young man to give the senior man, and I start working on my own.
As a senior person.
As a senior person, I start working
So
on
this
my
was
own.
carpentry that you started.
I wouldn't call it carpentry.
Or joinery. What?
Joinery.
Right, right.
Joinery. But I had some idea of carpentry because the government, when they build in a school or any building, they used to send the plan to the joiner shop for the windows and the doors.
Okay.
So you get an insight of the plan, the size of the doors and windows and frames. We used to build that in the factory. So I get my first stint at reading plan in the joiner shop.
How long did you continue with this apprenticeship at the Annesvale Works? And what was your salary like? How much money were you
Well,
making
the
then?
salary was 60 cents per day,
Okay.
which was good.
And at least you were not in the sun.
I was not in the sun, and it was 60 cents a day, which was good because my counterpart who learned trade with private people, they weren't getting no pay. In those days, you have to work a good time before they pay you.
So it was considered that
I
you
was
were working
fortunate.
yes, the others
because-
who were getting paid were true apprentices then. They were working and learning.
Yes.
And so money was not part of their deal.
That is with private people.
Okay.
But in the
Government
government,
service.
you get a pay. Nobody would come there without getting a daily pay. My daily pay was 60 cents. I stay in that place 2 years and 6 months. Why I leave? One day, before that 2 years and 6 months was up, one day I did not have a pencil. And anytime Carlton Cole come, the boss, come to show you anything, the first thing he asks you for, let me see your pencil.
Oh, is that so?
Because he's going to describe something to you.
So you have to write
So
it or draw it.
you either draw it or he will do something on a piece of cardboard or anything and show you what he wants.
Right.
Let me see your pencil. One day I did not have a pencil. And nobody was close to me for me to pull a tricks on them. Because many times he do that and I go to another young man and
And
say,
get his
give me
pencil."
my pencil. I didn't say, lend me your pencil. I would say, man, give me my pencil.
Yes, it was yours.
Like if I had loaned him. But this time nobody was near. So I couldn't do that. And he sent me home the balance of the day to buy a pencil.
So you're given a mini suspension, eh?
I took it for a real suspension.
So that was the end of that.
No, that was not the end. I went home and I didn't go back the next day. And I spent about the balance of the week. And the Sunday, he came and looked for me. And he told me, I did not fire you. I only wanted you to have your own pencil. So he told me I must come back to work. So it was a Sunday evening. I go back the Monday to work. But I had something in the back of my head. You will never fire me again.
So this was your mantra. You're not going to get fired again.
No.
Once was enough.
But
In your mind. Although he did not fire you, but in your mind, nobody's going to tell you to go.
I would go when I ready now.
Right.
Anyhow, what happened why I left? I used to carry my food every day. That's all my mother could do for me. Cook and give me my carrier. And most of the time my food is from the land.
Right.
Where we walk and so on. So this day, after I finished eating my lunch, I asked myself a question. How far can you reach in this workshop? That's what I asked myself. And I study and answer myself. Third, and I get vexed with myself. I say, I am not dying a third, man.
So you saw that job as being limiting. Certainly.
Yeah, because to be there longer, there's others in front of me.
Right.
I know their age.
So it's what they call dead man boots.
You
really.
see, I know their age, and when one have to go and the other have to go, as one go, you move up a
Right.
notch.
You feel the dead man boots.
So I see myself taking a long time to reach third. And I get angry with myself and decide I'm not going to die a third man. So I pick up my tools and leave before 1 o'clock because I didn't want Cole to come back and meet me.
And try to get you to come back on the job.
Because I didn't want to tell him I'm going to leave. So I leave.
But did you have a plan? You left because you didn't want to die a third
I
man.
didn't want.
But did you have a plan?
I
Did you have
didn't
an
see a plan. I didn't. I feel I had enough in me to start doing something.
And what in fact did you do? What in fact did you do when you left?
Well, I suffered for about a year because nobody had known me as a builder to give me a job to do, and I didn't have money to go and build a chair and offer it for sale to nobody. And nobody would come and say, well, build a chair for me. So I catch my skin, go back in the mountain.
You were working on the stone boat, as people would say, for a year.
I go back in the mountain for about a year. And it appears if the mountain was not for me again, because I built a watch house and trash it today, and it burned down the next day. Because I used to rail pig and so. So the bits of trash was around the watch house, and I go light the fire to put on my pig food and go and cut grass for the animal. So the trash catch and burn down the place.
So that was a sign, eh? That was an omen.
That was a sign that I should
not for you.
Not for me. So I left and I go somewhere else and so on. But how my big break come, I could have built chairs from the knowledge I gather. There was a gentleman in the village, he was a wood cutter. And he cut some lumber and he asked me to build a set of chairs for him. A set in those days is 3.
Okay.
A long one and 2 small ones.
Right. So this is what you call living room chairs.
Living room sets.
Right.
So I built the chair with glee, because he furnished the wood.
Right. And you had your tools by then?
I had a bit of tools that I could have used. And I buy a little glue and varnish them up. And when I deliver the chair, with the expectation that I'm going to get some money, he say, I cannot pay you, but I would give you some wood. So he paid me with wood.
So that was trading. So he gave you what he had. He gave you some more resources, not cash.
Not cash. I took the wood and I built 2 more of the same type of chair. And a friend of mine told me, Corrèze used to sell furniture at that time. Corrèze was before T. Geddes Grant.
Right.
And T. Geddes Grant was before Wiley, before Coates. So I go to Corrèze and I asked Mr. Dickie Roberts. I don't know if you remember.
Name sounds familiar, but I can't say.
He was the boss, the manager of that department. Because they had various departments.
Right, so that's just the furniture department, basically. And
he told me to bring them. So I carried them to town. He inspected them, and he decided to pay me $50 for the 2 chairs, $25 for one.
Did that seem like a good deal? Was that?
That was the best thing I ever see. It's the first check I ever get in my life. $50.
How old were you then?
Well, around that time, I was about 18 going for 19.
Right.
About, not 19,
But yes.
but over 18. Okay, if you remember, I got to trade at
Just after 14.
14.
Yes.
I spent 2 years and 6 months. I was about 3, 14, I was 17. I had a little stint back in the mountain after I left. So I was on my own now.
Right,
18
right.
going for 19. And I built those 2 chairs. He fall in love with them. He paid me. And when I going out the door with the check, he say, Omroy, come here. I feel a little nervous because I thought he spot a fault on the
Yeah,
chair.
one of them, yes.
So when I go back, he say, we don't do things so. When I sell these 2 chairs, what the customer would see, nothing there for them to see. One body may buy the 2 and nothing else left in the store.
So you instantly got a contract.
Right away, he say, go and build 6 more. So I go by Corey's lumberyard and I buy $48 wood.
This is out of the $50.
Out of the check. I didn't
Yes.
change it.
Right, right.
I carry it to the lumberyard. You buy $48 wood. They give me back $2 to pay a transport to drop
Take it down to what was now your workshop.
My
Where were you
workshop.
working from?
Well, a little shed, you know, cover a little place and so on.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was your big job. We're at the end of our second segment. When we come back, we're going to follow this thing chronologically. We're gonna move up to OT, the man who is now known as Are We Store. Okay, so when we come back. This is Unrendered on IKTV. My guest is OT Mays. More with him when we come back.